Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back to Nukeshot Media and the Capital NASCAR Cup Series. We are here for round 4 at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York. We're here at the short circuit as used by the real-life NASCAR Cup Series. I'm of course your commentator today, Zogyo. We're here for the Go Bowling at the Glen. 150 miles, that's 61 laps. The stage break at lap 31 today. Pretty decent turnout of the grid. We'll go over some of the competitors as we're also going to be starting qualifying relatively soon. So we've got Ray Racer in the Olive Garden number 5. We've got the Nintendo 38 of TCR Kirby. The Verizon number 19 of Taters. The Verizon number 18 of Shadow. That's not going to get confusing at all. Mateo in the Body Armor number 12. I think this is another Verizon car of Arroyo. Yep, the 81. Chico Blasi currently in the pits, as is Mateus. So 8 cars as it stands. Should be a pretty good race. I think it's around 2.45 miles is this circuit. Relatively simple in terms of layout is the short circuit here at Watkins Glen, but deceptively tricky. Suits these stock cars quite well, especially with the corners having a decent amount of banking. Hope you're all looking forward to the action. Should also note, as you can see there from Ray Racer, there are no track limits anywhere except for the bus stop chicane, or the inner loop, as I believe it's officially called. Okay, we're just about to get there now, so let's go on board. Again, hope you're all looking forward to it. Be sure to leave a like if you are. Consider subscribing for the rest of the season and future projects on the Nukeshot Media channel. Words. Slight bit of a channel rebranding, actually, you may have noticed. That's something new. Same name, slightly different appearance. And at the moment, it's Mateus who's in the pits as the fastest lap of anyone, of 14.0. Will we see anyone get into the 13s? I suppose while we're here, we can go over the current championship standings. As it stands, Mateus is the championship leader and has locked himself into the playoffs on 138 points. Also locked into the playoffs are Taters and Chico Blasi. Those are the 3 drivers that have won so far this season. Will we see another one, or will we see a repeat winner? Best of the cars that are not locked in as of yet, but are still fighting for those positions through points in the regular season, are Kirby, who's on 124 points, then Ray on 77, on 73 points is Skid, Dot is on 67 points, and Shad is on 47. And outside of the cut-off point for the playoffs, it's the top 8 that go through. At the moment it's Arroyo on 43 points, only 4 points out. Natty also only 5 points out, they're on 42 points. Maro is on the outside looking in at the moment on 38 points, that's 9 points out. And Oreo on 32 points is currently 15 points out of the playoff picture. But of course, any of these drivers can lock themselves in with a win today. As for the Teams Championship, it is Team Full Push with very consistent scoring, currently leading in with 257 points. Team Capital on 139 in second place, Nukeshot Motorsport on 126 in third, NASCAR Dynasty in fourth, they're on 74 points, 67 points for Hennessy Performance Motorsports, they're in fifth. Sixth place is Apex Motorsports on 43 points, and Motorsport Republic on 38 points, they are in seventh. As for the manufacturers, it is Toyota that are leading quite significantly, 469 points over Ford, who are in second with 200 points, and Chevrolet on 150 are currently third. Okay, it seems that things have been shuffled a little bit. There was something, a note that was put up to people, that the qualifying format has changed. There will just now be a 10-minute session and no Fast 6 session for the remainder of the season. So, keeping that in mind, although it looks like the schedule has changed automatically there, so perhaps we are a little bit behind schedule at the moment, but we've still got cars on track as Chico Blasi goes into the wall quite heavily, and Mateus very nearly clips him. There is Mateus in the KFC number 25. Been a very good season for Mateus so far. Who else haven't we actually seen yet? I think that might actually be everyone. So the car's just getting a little bit of practice in. And I've got a notification. What's going on here? Oh, right, okay. Maura, if you're listening to this in the chat, I was busy reading the standings off my tablet, most likely, which is to the side. It's a separate screen. I'm doing that now before any meaningful action like qualifying. There we see Mateus slide McGeeing about. He's taken out one of the chevron markers. That's not on. I'm sure the groundskeeper will be sending him a bill. Slide McGee making a return here today. It's a pretty tricky stuff for putting the power down. We've been seeing that throughout this whole season. Of course, they're running sports hard tyres and upwards of 500 brake horsepower to those rear wheels. Really puts an emphasis on throttle control, and from the basis of what we've seen so far this season, Mateus seems to be the strongest in that aspect, utilising that runoff area, which is allowed. Though it seems really bumpy out there and dusty. So he slides his way through the S's. I keep getting notified of stuff. What's going on? Sorry, what? How has Mateus got the setup? How's that happened? If one of the drivers shared the setup... There's no secrecy in motorsports anymore. Oh well. Well, glad that he's finding it fast. Assuming he is using it, he may have just been, like, modified it or something. Making a hybrid setup between his own and mine, or some weirdness. Either way, he's currently fastest by of the cars on circuit, nearly a second. Oh, Mauro might be on his way, but he's going to miss qualifying, it seems. So that seems to be what's going on. It'd be interesting with this sort of mid-pack. I wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a few incidents out there. Of course, this is the circuit where the famous Steve the Commentator iRacing video is from. A fantastic piece of historical media that I highly encourage everyone to watch after this. Steve the Commentator. What a legend that guy is. An inspiration to all commentators out there. Unfortunately, there's no Ryan the Regal Beagle competing today. Okay, lobby is in the process of being reset. And we'll be getting underway here for qualifying. 10-minute session. Octavian, our race director, as almost always. Whenever possible, that's what he does here. Cars making their way out onto the circuit. Now they may have that 2-minute setup grace period, or they may have got rid of that now, considering that without BOP on. Oh no, it is still there, okay. Yeah, the setups don't get reset when balance of performance is switched off, as it is here, this being a spec series with power and weight figures. So technically this isn't a needed way, but I guess it's just to get everyone on circuit at the same time. Once the timer in the bottom left of your screen hits 2 minutes, cars will be released, and then when that timer hits 12 minutes, therefore 10 minutes of actual green flag running in qualifying, the session will conclude, the checkered flag will be out, and cars will finish their respective laps. Cars revving their engines, perhaps trying to burn off a little bit of fuel here. Yep, there's Mateus, the absolute sweat. And Taters as well, the two sweats. Funny stuff. It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Okay, a car's left the pits already. That was the 12. I think they've reset now. That may be Matteo. Okay, cars are leaving the pits. We are green for qualifying here for the Go Bowling at the Glen. Some cars trying to get themselves a gap. This is one of the longer lap times, as opposed to like an oval. Mind you, with an oval you'd be wanting slipstream, so. It's going to be Taters that leads the field out. Looks like everyone except Ray Racer has left the pits at this stage. And Mateus goes by. So we'll go on board with Mateus for a lap here at Watkins Glen International on the short circuit. Here we go then. Final corner. Nice bit of banking. That wall right next to it easy to get on the throttle too early or to oversteer into that wall. And downhill braking for turn 1, again banked, can run wide, pardon me, as demonstrated here. Oh, hits the Armco barrier, that's not good, and up through the S's. And hits the Armco again. Apologies for the slight mic mute there, that was me dying. As Mateus, not happy with this lap, is going to actually pull out of the way. So we're back with Taters on the onboard, through the inner loop, all the bus stop, and immediately pitched into the outer loop. This long banked corner, plunges downhill and so easy to be spat out on that exit. Another good reason for no track limits on this occasion. Then the second to last corner, not quite 90 degrees, can carry a decent amount of speed through there. And the final corner, once again banked. Getting close to the wall, nicely controlled, wasn't really that sideways through that final corner. And Taters sets the first lap time, it's a 1:15.326. And Kirby goes fastest, 1:15.021. Car's really sliding about on that bumpy runoff area. Shadow's currently second, 1:15.1. So no one in the 14s as of yet. Tater's currently third, Chico Blasi fourth, Mateo fifth, Arroyo sixth, and Mateus, we know, hasn't set a properly representative time as of yet. Ray Racer, with plenty of clear track. Oh, nicely controlled on exit there. And to the top of the timesheets of 14.725. That clear track making a pretty decent advantage. That's the first 14 we've seen today. Cars coming across the line, no improvement for Taters that time by. Mateus up to second. Oh, the horns are added again. 14.9. No improvement that time for TCR Kirby. They stay third. Chico Blasi goes second. 14.785. Stop the clock. It's a Nukeshot 1-2. Good stuff by both of those Ford Mustangs at the moment. Oh, sliding about again. That was Taters that time by. Running wide, trying to carry the speed. But again, you don't want to be getting sideways. It's improving by about 100th or so. Someone's gone off at the outer loop. I'm not too sure who that is. And it looks like Mateus has backed off a little bit, get himself more of a gap. No improvement that time by. Some more improvements happening there. Ryo improves the time but stays in 8th as it stands. Mateo coming up to the line, no improvement. Taters making his way up through the S's. Plenty of clear track. Nicely handled through the inner loop and now the outer. Really see the rubber being laid down there and the marbles on the outside. Oh, it's purple through sector 3. Our apologies, that would be sector 2 in sector 3 now. Miscounted the lines on the minimap. Right up to the wall. Maybe slight contact with it. Coming up to the line. Ray Racer has managed to get a 13.8 meanwhile. I've missed that. That's incredible pace. It is an improvement for Taters, a 14.9. But Ray Racer, 1:13.8. That is by far the fastest time we've seen today. Mateus hustling the car through the S's. Very close to improving on his time. Was an improvement last time by 14.5. Just clipping the grass slightly. Will take a little bit of time to get that off of the tyres. Not quite hooked into that inside line for the first part of the inner loop. Gets back to it with that late apex on the second. Did lose a little bit of time. Making his way towards the line. What's it going to be? It's not an improvement that time by Chico Blasi. Making his way around. Tater's currently 4th. TCR Kirby 5th. Shadow in 6th. Mateo in 7th and Arroyo in 8th as it stands. Just under 2 minutes left in the qualifying session. And Alex has joined. Might have another car then. Though it will depend if they are on the entry list. I can't quite remember if they are or not. Ray Racer out of that final corner. Won't be an improvement. But what a lap at this point, looking to be unchallenged. 7/10. The gap between first and second. Mateus really putting the power down, sliding out of the corner. No improvement that time by. These are potentially going to be the last laps for people. Thank you, race director. And Ray goes to the pits. So Ray's session is done. That puts Mateus at the top of the timesheets for now. Now, will Mateus be able to get onto another lap? I don't quite think so. Well, what's Taters going to do? Taters is currently going around the second to last corner. This typing in chat will be a little bit of a distraction. No improvement that time by for Taters. The checker flag is out. And it is an improvement for Mateus, but it's not quite enough. What can anyone else do? Chico Blasi's still going around. Shadow improves the time, is in 4th. So ahead of Taters actually then. Best of the Verizon cars, if I'm not mistaken. TCR Kirby finishes up in 6th. Mateo in 7th. Oh, never mind. Arroyo's actually managed to jump up to, I believe, that provisional 3rd. Very close between them and Chico Blasi. So they are the best of the Verizon cars, if I've got the livery right. Yep. The 81 takes 3rd place, but a very impressive drive by Ray Racer, a 13.841. I'm telling you, it's the green on the car, it's plasma dynamics. Good stuff. We'll see how the race goes for that. We have showboating there from Matteo. Hope you enjoyed that qualifying session. The race will be coming up shortly. We're just having a little bit of a break period. Good stuff to see. I'll go into the chat at the moment. Hello to all the odd stuff. Hope you're enjoying the live stream, as is well, hopefully everyone. I haven't actually done an audio check. Hold on. Okay, yep, the audio has been working this whole time. That's good. Oh, that's Ray Racer. Well, congratulations on that pole position. We've got Mateus going backwards down the S's and towards turn 1. Look at the Verizon cars. They're like lined up like Skittles almost. I was expecting Mateus to go diving headfirst into them, but no. They survive. Look at that, it's like the cool kids club. Must still admit, it is kind of the commentator's nightmare to have 3 cars with the exact same livery. At least for something like NASCAR. There is actually one slight difference between these. As you might be able to see, they have slightly different rear deck lid sponsors. There you can sort of see. But besides that, and I suppose the name panels and numbers. Yeah, funny stuff. Oh, there we go. There's the bullying. All sorts of madness going on at the moment. Really a fascinating race. Oh, there's so many notifications on Discord. Again, hope you've enjoyed that so far. This is the Go Bowling at the Glen, 150 miles. We're here at Watkins Glen International in upstate New York. The Finger Lakes region, if I recall correctly. It's either that or Road America is the Finger Lakes region. I'm not American, I don't know these things too well. Okay, we've got 7 minutes until the start of this. What is with these notifications? Why is T17 messaging me with an @ here? Oh, it looks like Ray's got a cone friend parked up. Funny stuff. Chico Blassie again practicing that reverse layout. We've seen quite a few cars trying this out today. It's an interesting approach. There you see Ray with the cone friend again. TCR Kirby and Matteo. Plenty of the cars in the pits at this stage. Now Chico Blassie exiting. in that Martini car. I believe this was meant to be ran at the Throwback Weekend, but unfortunately Chico Blasi wasn't able to be there. So using this opportunity today, nice to see that classic Martini look. The red Martini look as well, that's something that you don't often see. Is that a Brabham throwback, perhaps? Pretty sure he said somewhere, but I just forget stuff. Anyway, while we're in this intermission, this particular broadcast is unofficially brought to you by the beverage of choice here at Nukeshot Media. In this case, it's coconut water. Maximum hydration for this very intense work that I do here, far more than the drivers, of course. There's Ray with Cone Friends still. Oh, who's this? It's Matteo. Even though we're looking at the Mateus cam. Oh, there's Mateus. Oh, Ray's moved. Cone Friend has been left behind. So I readjust my seating position. I commentate everything here, don't I? This is the kind of content that you get here on Nukeshot Media. The most premium of services. About 3 minutes away. Okay, things being reset up. And the decision to decide which side the grid will be starting on, odds and evens. I would predict it's going to be the left. No, right, sorry. Oh, okay. I'm mistaken. It's going to be the outside line for turn 1 then. For Ray. Ray, of course, one of the cars that hasn't won a race yet and therefore isn't officially locked into the playoffs. Looking quite good for points to make it in, but of course a win will guarantee it. Yeah, Ray is currently 5th in the standings. And 34 points above the cut line. Oh right. Ray had a qualifying ban this whole time. Oh dear. Well then, I guess Mateus is the pole sitter then. Well, that's going to make it interesting to see how far Ray gets up through the field. That was still a very impressive drive. Oh dear. And Mateus chooses the right-hand side. Oh, that was eventful. All cars are out on circuit, or in the pits at least. Oh, more settings being changed? What's going on here? Not entirely sure. Yeah, I believe that would be Mateus on pole position then. I should probably actually check some of the other penalties because it seems Mateus is in third. So Chico Blasi on pole? Mateus may have had a two-place penalty if that's correct. Where can I actually see the incident report? Auto Club 150, that was the race from last time. Okay, the incident report isn't there. Steward decisions. Car 5 has been handed a one-place grid drop. And a qualifying ban. And it seems that was the only car to have a penalty. According to the... okay, yeah, Mateus has been reordered. Okay. Mateo is yet to be on circuit. Oh, I see. Okay, so Mateo's not going to be competing after that then. That's unfortunate. So 7 cars. Not too sure if we have points for qualifying. I don't think we do. One formation lap, then we'll be getting this underway. Thank you, Mr. Race Director. And the cars start weaving. Just get some of the other info on my screen. There we go. Okay then. So we'll run you through the order here. This is, of course, Go Bowling at the Glen, 150 miles at Watkins Glen International Short Circuit. For the NASCAR, the Capital NASCAR Cup Series, that's the one. It is Mateus on pole position, followed by Arroyo in second. Chico Blasi will be starting in third. Shadow in fourth. 5th place for Taters, 6th place for Kirby, and Ray Racer, who was the fastest, NASCAR, of course, had that qualifying ban. Will be starting at the back of the field. What can she do from there? Round the outer loop they go. Wind speed relatively calm. It's just gone up to 1.8 meters a second. Wind can play havoc, especially through the high-speed S's section, as you're really trying to stop the car from understeering into the walls. Car's going double file. Mateus will be having the inside line.com for turn 1. And the KFC 25 Toyota Camry 14 full push will be leading them to the green. Fellow Toyota alongside, followed by a Ford in third, Toyota in fourth. And he goes flat out. There we go. We are green, 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 and the cars are off for the go bowling at the Glen. The cars making their way towards turn 1, sliding about. Arroyo going very wide, and Ray Racer making up positions already up to 4th. Look at that. Past 2 of the Verizon cars. Now Mateus going up through the S's for the first time. Has the clear air. Going to be difficult for the cars behind to follow. Chico Blasi up to 2nd. Trying to close in on the KFC car up ahead. Into the inner loop. It looks like Blasi may have outbroke himself a little bit. Gathers it back up, and Ray charging around the outside, trying to get 3rd. In that clear air, trying to cross back over. Great battling back here as well for 5th and 6th. Arroyo on the outside. Kirby looking to the inside. Kirby very late on the brakes. Gets that position, but there's a little bit of contact. Ray again trying to get the crossover to the inside. Side by side they run for 3rd place. Ray has the inside line. This battling is allowing Mateus to get away. Taters on that outside. Manages to just carry the speed. It's a 1.5 second gap that Mateus has over Chico Blasi, who has a little bit of a gap over these two who are fighting for 3rd. Looks like a good run for Shadow in 6th. Can't quite find a way past going into the inner loop. Car's kicking up some grass through there. Very solid stuff. Side by side again for 3rd. Not quite. Good defensive driving. And the 2 Verizon cars in the back as well. Round the outside goes Ray Racer. Is she able to hold on to it? Looks like Taters manages to get it back. Awesome racing between these two. And the Verizon cars again going at it. Shadow and Arroyo down towards turn 1. And it looks like Ray's coming under threat from Kirby. A little bit of contact there. That was Arroyo trying to go around the outside on the runoff area of Shadow. .6, the gap remains. Battle here. 4th and 5th. Now it's TCR Kirby trying to make a way through. Not quite. The Nintendo car has to back out of it for now. Gotta also be careful that you don't burn up the tyres too early at this part of the race. Look at that purple time there for Mateus. Will be the first 14 most likely of the race so far. Chico Blasi doing a good job in 2nd. Taters in 3rd. And Ray just clipping the wall on the outside. That's allowing Kirby to get a bit of a run. Right up to the pit wall. Very aggressive defense there. And it seems to have paid off. So Mateus from Chico Blasi from Taters. Ray getting a little bit of a gap now over Kirby. Shadow still holding off Arroyo. Arroyo's dropped back a little bit. Oh, cars going all over the place in the grass. .9 the gap between first and second. The cars continue to spread out at this stage. It'll also be about saving the fuel to try and get to that first stage marker where the points are awarded. Yeah, it looks like we might have a move here. Shadow to the inside of Kirby. To the inside, maybe a little bit of contact. They both run over that bumpy runoff area. And Shadow manages to get that move to stick very nicely. We're going to go on board with Kirby. Oh, just clipping the wall. And that will ruin the momentum going up the hill. TCR Kirby down to 6th then. Shadow on a bit of a charge. Really sideways there from Ray Racer. And into the wall heavily. Shadow's going to try and make a move around the outside. Very good launch off of the corner. Ray goes defensive. Side by side going into the second to last corner. Ray has the inside, but the outside line can be preferable because of the camber. Sliding about again. Bit of contact. Shadow trying to get the move to stick. This is allowing Kirby to get back into the mix as well. And Arroyo not too far behind this group either. Through all of that, they somehow managed to maintain positions, but the top 3 are escaping. Shadow closing in. We're going to go back on board with TCR Kirby. Up through the S's. Little bit of a bump draft through there. Can unsettle the car ahead. Oh, perhaps pulled out with the slipstream a little bit too early. Thinks better of making a move going into the inner loop regardless. It's getting a bit more overcast here at Watkins Glen International. No chance of rain, because of course it doesn't rain in the United States, we all know this. But the wind speed has picked up a little bit. It's changed direction too. Good dueling. And consistency seems to be the key at this stage. Ray Racer still has managed the fastest lap of the race of 1:14.3, so definitely has the pace, but it is Mateus with the consistency at this point. 3 seconds over Chico Blasi. And Taters in 3rd. Ray 4th. Shadow in 5th. TCR Kirby in 6th. And Arroyo a little bit further back, but certainly not out of this yet. Fourth and 5th seems to be the closest of the battles at this stage. Different lines, some of them taking the runoff, some not. Oh, more sideways action there from Ray. Ray's going to be really burning up those tyres doing that. Just really desperate to keep the power down. 2 seconds to Taters up ahead. And now 5th and 6th getting a little bit closer. TCR Kirby closing in a little bit. We'll have the slipstream going up the hill. Had to get out of it a little bit though. Won't be close enough to make a move going into the inner loop. It might be just a bit too risky to make a move there anyway in these cars with the sports hard tyres. Around the outer loop they go, and then dipping down. Then the track rises up again on the exit. Gives you a nice helping of grip. Pitching the car in. A little bit sideways for both of them. Status quo at the moment. And Mateus has taken the fastest lap back. It's a 1:14.229. Pretty good for race pace. Very good for race pace, I'd say. Clear air. Nicely handled. That KFC 25 looking pretty solid at the moment. I'd be surprised unless there's a mistake, which to be fair is very easy to do here at Watkins Glen International. I'd be surprised if he is caught before the stage, but we'll see. Chico Blasi in car number 27, the Martini liveried machine. Currently in second, then Taters in third. One of the Verizon cars. He's the best placed of the Verizon cars. And you can see on the indicators the tyre wear. Ray's tyres are definitely wearing more from the sliding. Shadow in hot pursuit now. Trying to get a run up the hill. Through the S's they go. Well in the slipstream, but there's just not enough straight to really catch for a move into the inner loop here. If the S's were flat, which may be the case if they were on racing hard tyres for example, you'd have more of a chance to get a run with the slipstream. But with the fact that you have to lift through the S's, it's a great characteristic of having to manage the throttle with how the car's set up here, but it does lend itself to shortening the straight effectively for where you're able to get a run. As mentioned, the stage break is going to be on lap 31. Fuel continues to burn. Will also be interesting to see if anyone takes tyres at the stop. I would be surprised if they do. I think your best chance for getting tyres will probably be at the stage break under the caution. You'd lose the least amount of time. But looking at the fuel burn, these cars are going to have to make a stop for fuel before the end of this, and I wonder if anyone's going to pit early to get some track position and be able to essentially do an undercut. Might not take tyres, but you'll be in clear air and may be able to run faster times doing so. Will anyone take that chance? Is anyone listening to the live stream is the better question for that. Live strategy updates here with Nukeshot Media. Hope you're all enjoying the live stream here. If you are, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for future content on the channel, including hopefully the rest of the season here of the Capital NASCAR Cup Series. The next round out is going to be the final one before the playoffs. It's going to be at Northern Isle Speedway, so that's going to be a very unique challenge for the drivers here. Essentially Gran Turismo's Bristol. High banked, short oval. And it looks like Taters could be catching up to Chico Blassie here. Meanwhile, Shadow has gotten ahead of Ray, and Kirby's dropped back. Apologies for missing all of that kerfuffle. Really can't take your eyes off any of this, or something will happen, as is evident. Yep, fastest lap, personal fastest lap for Taters last time by, 1:14.479. That plays a 1:14.642 for Chico Blassie. The Verizon car is catching then. We're coming up to about halfway through stage 1. And yeah, Shadow, great run there. I believe they went from 6th to 4th. Well, suddenly they've managed to get past Ray at some point. And this is what I was mentioning. Any slight mistake can lead to a change of position. There's a car off! Chico Blassie is disconnected. I just saw that in the background. Disconnecting from second place. There it is. Ford Mustang hits the wall and disappears into the ether. So we're down to 6 cars here for the Go Bowling at the Glen 150. .5 seconds is the gap between Mateus and Taters. And Shadow now promoted up to 3rd place due to that disconnection. On the podium then. Ray Racer 4 seconds back, and TCR Kirby not too far behind either. Interesting to compare the tyre wear. It is more than the rears for the Olive Garden car compared to the Nintendo Camry. And Arroyo continuing to make progress. Only 4.3 seconds back, and Mateus has gone into the pits, has made a stop. Doesn't look like they've taken tyres, they've just fueled up. So they are the only car to have made a pit stop here. Are they going to be in clear air? Not too sure, maybe. But how slow this pit exit is, it looks like they are going to be. So great call there by Team Full Push. They managed to get ahead of Arroyo and into some clear air. Now will anyone react? Or will Taters use the clear air that they're in now? And I suppose you might as well, if you're Taters, just stay out at this point. Because you're not going to be taking tyres. And you're just going to be running more time in clear air, lower fuel. You've essentially just got to do the opposite of what Mateus did, and Mateus made the call to pit. We will see if Taters does choose to pit or not. Seems not. Yep, they stay out. Way on the outside of that yellow line, used for pit-in safety. So it's Verizon and Team Capital 1-2. Ray Racer goes into the pits this time. Fueling up. Doesn't look like any tyres on that car. No new Goodyears. And Ray trying that clean air tactic again. Will definitely be in clear air at the back of the field. Bit of wheel spin there. Now is Shadow able to close upon their teammate? Looks like they are gaining a little bit. Incremental. Let's see what their last lap times were. 15.2. In fact, the last two lap times were in the 15s, whereas 14.6, 14.7 for Shadow. Shadow looks to be going in the pits. Okay, both of the capital cars going into the pits. They're choosing not to stay on the low fuel. Neither taking tyres, of course. I'm really not sure why you would... If you're in that situation, if you've already got clear air, why wouldn't you just run the tank dry? If you're not going to be taking tyres. I don't understand that, unless they think a caution's going to come out, but with 6 cars, and with them as spaced out as they are, it has to be a multiple car incident, if I recall correctly, for it to be called. That's highly unlikely. Through all of that, TCR Kirby finds the clear air and is in the lead of the race. Is a team full pushed car, the Nintendo Camry, number 38. I've seen some good performances from that car earlier in the season. I seem to recall they did pretty well at Daytona. Mateus in second, Shadow's managed to jump the teammate then, and that's because Taylor's did take tyres. It didn't show up on the graphic when we actually cut to the camera of the pit crew, but Taylor's has taken tyres, and that's dropped them behind their teammate and a little bit closer to Ray. Now, with the fresher tyres, shouldn't have any issues defending from Ray. But they've potentially lost out on some stage points here unless they're able to reel their teammate in. Well, they could be playing this tactically as well. Because Taylor's is already locked into the playoffs with 1 win, whereas Shadow is on the bubble in 8th place in the standings, 47 points, only 4 points to the good over Arroyo, who's also in this race. There's 3 capital cars, all pretty much hovering around that round of 8 cutoff line. Kirby now decides to go for the pits. Could have stayed out. Had the fuel to do so. Oh look, they just instantly spawn there. Only a small amount of fuel taken on board that time, just to get to the end of the stage. Another thing you've got to keep in mind is not to run out of fuel shortly after the stage break. You don't want to run out while you're under caution, because that'll drop you back significantly. And it's going to be a race off of pit exit here. TCR Kirby trying to get back up to speed. Ray Racer closing in. All sorts of sideways going up through the S's. Contact with the Armco barrier. And it looks like Kirby just about safe, but perhaps the tyres have cooled down a little bit from waiting in the pits. Oh, really sending it through the inner loop. Careful, Ray, the tyres are going to be struggling out there. Good stuff though, good battling. Where's Arroyo in all this? I think Arroyo's also made a stop. Yep, that was on lap 18. just thinking it may have been difficult, but potentially possible to have, on a leaner fuel mixture, have made it to the end of the stage, but then you'd probably run out during the caution. So yeah, it's probably just advised to make the pit stop as they have done. Don't try anything too fancy. A little bit of a shame that we didn't see anyone run the tank out. That would have been my own strategy if I was in this. Pit at the last possible opportunity. Oh, someone's sliding. That's Ray. Plenty of wheel spin there. Just drifting about. Is that deliberate? It's looking deliberate. It looks really fun, but I'm not sure about this being a good tyre conserving strategy. We're going to see just quite what happened here. Was it just the car getting unsettled? Oh, the rear overtaking the front on entry. Wow, that's tricky. I think this stage is just going to have to be called at a loss for Ray. Regroup at the second stage. That's what this stage racing allows for, is a second chance to get in the mix. We're up to 7 viewers. Hope you're all enjoying this so far. If you are, be sure to leave a like. Consider subscribing for future content on the channel. This is Nukeshot Media bringing you live action from the Go Bowling at the Glen, 150 miles here at Watkins Glen International. Shadow is being caught by their teammate. Taters, of course, took the tyres on that pit stop. And is indeed closing in. Last time 1:14.6. I played a 1:14.8. It looks like this lap's going to be a lot slower for Shadow. Probably a mistake at some point. Look at that, 2.1 seconds off their previous pace. Their personal best lap. And you've got to think, with the tyre advantage, Taters is going to be able to go a lot more on throttle for the S's here. And get a bit of a good run. Catching him at just the right point. But did have to back out midway through that. So a little bit further back, but is looking on track to make an overtake towards the end of this stage. Lap 31 approaches. As I continue to die. It's handy having a microphone with the mute feature. Closing in then. Really closing in through these final two corners. Look at this, Taters is all over the back of him now. What's a fun camera? There's a fun camera. With the, I believe that's the Garfield helmet of Taters. Sort of a team mascot. See, closing in on the Verizon car ahead, in the Verizon car. With another Verizon car in sight. Nicely controlled. They're going to be close enough for a move here. Closing up, no, backs out of it. Just saving fuel, I think, there. Not putting the pressure on a teammate. Could just be team orders to get Shadow the stage points. But Taters will be also thinking of his own championship, trying to catch Mateus. Although with how Mateus' form has been today, that'll be pretty tricky. Those downshifts, brutal. I believe real life NASCARs have 5 gears these days. Used to be 4. These have 6th. Looking to the inside, oh, not quite. We'll go back to the off-board shots. Oh, Kirby's going to Narnia in the background. Up through the S's. This is as close as Taters has been. Still not close enough. Biding his time, just keeping the pressure on. Look at the tyre difference here. We'll go rear wing cam for a bit on Shadow's car. Different lines again, and there's debris all down this back straight. Not sure if we'll be getting a caution for that. It's not on the racing line, as the racing line seems to be on the runoff. Taylor's closing in again, backs out of it. I suppose if you are going to make an overtake, you might as well leave it for the last lap of the stage, or if you get an opportunity like this, no, backs out. Of course, you can't follow too closely through here just because of the lack of downforce that the car has. Closing in. Now backs out of it early again. But looking very strong through that inner loop. And different lines here. Bit of a later apex for Taters. Keeping it hooked in close to the curb through that second phase. '18 and 19 continue to battle at it. Taylor's getting very close this time by. Bit of a switchback. And I think the move could be on here. This is as close as it has been in the slipstream. Does Taylor's go for it? Or does he think of the stage points? He thinks of the stage points, it seems. Playing the team game. Through the S's again though. This is a lot closer. If he wants, he can make a move here. Nope, he's choosing to bump draft. Trying to protect from Kirby behind then. Or maybe force Shadow into a mistake, which it seems it has done. If you give someone a bump draft, then they're approaching the corner slightly faster than they'd expect. So if they use their normal braking marker, they'll be caught out and run wide. That seems to be what Taters is thinking at the moment. Of course, you can't do it too close to the braking zone, otherwise it can lead into disaster. Mahavy was acting up again. Apologies for that. As Ray Racer goes into the pits. Okay, oh, actually, this could be an interesting call. Again, we're not seeing the tyre changes go to work, but I would assume they are putting new tyres, new Goodyears on that number 5 machine. But this is something that we've seen before. If you pit just before the stage break, before everyone else pits, you actually get track position. Because you would then stay out. This is an interesting call. Although saying that, it looks like Ray has just parked up. There's no action at all on that car. No fuel or anything. So I think that could be Ray done. There's the tyre changes going to work, so it is working for the number 19 crew. So they're playing that strategy card as they attempt to battle with this guy who we haven't seen much of throughout this, but that's because he's been so far ahead that we don't really have much to talk about. Continues to be an impressive run of form for Mateus. And I do wonder, actually, would Mateus chance it? Yeah, I was thinking whether Mateus would go into the pits himself and see if he can make this stop to avoid being undercut at the end of the stage. He's got that much of a gap now. I think he may well do so. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. TCR Kirby is right there. TCR Kirby's gonna beat him out. Look at that. The Nintendo car goes to second, although they are teammates. But this has actually compromised Mateus on the stage points. The strategy hasn't paid off in Mateus' position. You'd only really pit before the stage if you really have no chance of actually winning it. So yeah, interesting call. Maybe this is also part of the strategy game with getting TCR Kirby some more points. They're currently set 4th, best of the cars that haven't won a race yet. Nope, there's the horn. And through all of this, it's looking like Shadow is going to be on track to take the stage. One more lap. Or possibly 2. The race director will indicate that. It's because of the extra lap with the formation, you see. Shadow going up through the S's. If they've got the fuel to do it, this has worked out fantastically for them. Now, will Mateus be able to catch and pass TCR Kirby? Or are they thinking of those points? We'll have to see. Certainly Mateus has the pace and is closing in. Could we be seeing a battle here this time by? As Shadow crosses the line and has potentially taken the stage win. I think there may be one more lap in it due to the race director not commenting. And Mateus has gone by. We'll get a replay of that one. It was side by side. Just had a better run on the exit of the final corner then. So Mateus manages to salvage second. And the stage break has been called. Okay, so that is Shadow taking the stage win. And Mateus did cross the line ahead. So did get second on that stage. And Kirby taking the 3rd spot. All sorts of debris getting scattered. Arroyo 4th, and Taters Last of the cars running at that stage. Still not sure what's happened to Ray Racer. Perhaps something came up in real life. That is unfortunate. 5 cars running then, here for the Go Bowling at the Glen 150. Round 4 of the Capital NASCAR Cup Series, live here on Nukeshot Media. Nukeshot Media unofficially brought to you by Coconut Water, the beverage of choice here in the booth today. Good stuff. Oh, another Discord notification. That's T17. Once again, something about a qualifying event for ERF, I assume. Now, what will happen this time? Some of these need to pit, others don't. I'd be half tempted if I've made a pit stop already just to top up with fuel during this, because your stop will be shorter anyway. But then I guess you're putting yourself at risk of other cars that don't need to pit. Pits are open, I assume. Maybe a car has come by there. Yep, okay, pits are open. Now Shadow is most likely going to come in. It looks like it's everyone but Mateus. Yep, everyone but Mateus. And again, I suppose in this situation it is probably the smart call by someone like Taters, because you can see that he's already fueled up and he can get going again. I don't think he took tyres. He probably could have took tyres again. Oh dear, the race director's got dementia. That's not good. Yeah, I think Taters was so far clear he probably could have taken tyres. So these ones will be slightly worn in as scuffs, I believe they are known as in sports car racing. The car's now catching back up to Mateus. And the field has caught up. We await the command from the race director. We may possibly be going green this time by. Cars will have to be single file though. Oh no, double file up. So it's going to be Mateus from the start, but what can Taters do? That's a slight fuel advantage. If we can get ahead, this could be a good opportunity for another win. Both of these have already won before. Only other winner was Chico Blasi, but he disconnected earlier on. Coming up to the start. And he's gone for it early. Nicely done by Mateus. And it's side by side for the Verizon cars again. Arroyo to the inside. Shadow looking to challenge Kirby as well. Arroyo holds on to it. My arm turns into bubble wrap. And Arroyo up into second place from that. Very good work. And Taters is looking to be slipping down the order a bit there. There's contact between the two. Shadow into the wall. And this is allowing Kirby to catch back up. Not quite. Oh no, they are side by side. What a move that was. TCR Kirby, they're still leaning on each other, going through the outer loop. The horns are blaring. And the battle for the lead is heating up as well. Arroyo really close to Mateus. Mateus holding that inside line. No horns, cries the race director. Mateus holds onto it for now, but Arroyo is a lot closer. I think they did take tyres. Mateus, of course, the only car that stayed out. Closing in, looking to go around the outside this time. That's a very wide line. Oh, Arroyo very sideways as well. I think that's Mateus making his escape now after that. All sorts of sideways. The dust on the tyres, the sliding up the hill. Contact with the barrier, more contact there. Tatus is all sorts of sideways. And Kirby goes up into third. Well, the teammates all squabbling together, and that allows Kirby to take massive advantage. Here we go, on board with TCR Kirby. There you see the car sliding up ahead of Arroyo, then Tatus all over the grass, and thank you very much. The overtake is made. And Mateus has been caught up again. Where was this pace from Arroyo in stage 1? This is awesome stuff. Closing back in. Holding on to second at this point. Again, really taking that wide line. And they do seem to gain a little bit of time from doing that. It might come at the expense of having dust on the tyres going through the S's. Kirby also closing in. Cars thundering down towards the inner loop and the outer loop. Arroyo, interestingly, with a bit of a higher line that time through. Mateus trying to clip some of the debris. Battle for third and fourth to the inside. Goes Shadow. Can't quite find the way past there. Bit of a slide from Kirby that time though. Does Kirby go to defend? It looks like Shadow's going to make an overtake on the brakes this time by. Slight bit of contact, and this is allowing Tatus to also go there. They're 3 wide, 2 on the runoff. Shadow does get the position up to third, and Tatus follows him through to fourth. Kirby down to fifth from all of that, sliding about again. Now these Capital Verizon cars need to really work together. Shadow looking to go for second. That's one of the first overtakes we've seen going into that inner loop. That seems to have gone well for them. Oh, slight tap there. Arroyo's not going down without a fight. And Taylor's looking to go around the outside of everyone, it seems. Juicy stuff. Like 38 of 62 here for the Go Bowling at the Glen. 150 miles. We're coming up to about 100 completed of that. Kirby closing in as well. There's contact there. Kirby with contact on Tatus, and Tatus hits the tyre wall. We're going to see a replay of this one. All sorts of sideways again. Coming up towards turn 1. Pretty far back. There's the nudge. And Arroyo as well. getting into that Armco barrier. Taters, is he going to repay the favour? It looks like he is. Bit of a nudge there. Sets Kirby onto that outside line of the outer loop. But the cutback of Dreams, and look at Arroyo. I don't think he could have took that corner wider if he tried. That was awesome. Taters back to 4th then. Kirby 5th. Oh. But look at that. Kirby back to 4th. Let's see that one again. Set up nicely. On the outside line. That time by. And cleared. And side by side for the lead. Shadow has caught up to Mateus. Are we going to see a run here? He's already made one pass here. We'll make another. Mateus goes defensive. Has to get back to the racing line for the inner loop. All over the bumper of that KFC number 25. Putting down the power. Backs off a little bit, but these two are staying together quite well. Mateus unable to escape, quite like he did in stage 1. That seems to be the theme of this particular run. And Mateus not quite hitting the apex there. We'll be losing a little bit of time. Shadow is right there. And alongside, they're side by side through the S's. And Shadow gets the place. Shadow up into P1. Well, I was not expecting a move to happen there. Will Mateus be able to come back at him? No, it doesn't quite look like it, although he's trying. Really sends the car in through there. Closing in again. To the inside this time by side through the outer loop. Is Shadow able to hold on? No, not quite. Mateus runs wide. A snap of oversteer on the exit. Side by side they run again. Shadow retakes the lead. Trying to go around the outside this time is Mateus. They're leaning on each other. And Shadow maintains first place, but without that good of an exit out of the final corner. Rear wing cam. Look at this charging Camry of Mateus closing up. Has to go to the outside line. We'll get a switchback. There you see it. Beautiful bit of racecraft there by Mateus. Shadow couldn't quite hold on to it on that shallower entry line. And the crossover. Magnificent. There's a little bit of a gap opened up between the two of them now. Is Shadow able to close back up again? Kirby in 3rd meanwhile. So while that was happening, Arroyo's managed to drop down to 5th. Must have been on the last lap because it's a 17.9. Taylor's all over the grass there. Trying to close back up. Bit of sideways stuff there for Shadow. And a purple sector for Mateus, on track to set a new best lap of the race. And it's a 13.9 in race conditions. Great speed there from Mateus. He's really feeling the pressure, has to check out of this. Does not want to be letting Shadow get close anymore. It was 13.9, plays a 15.1 on that last lap. And Kirby coming under some pressure now from the likes of Taters. on board with the Verizon car of Taters. Looking to get to that inside line. Kirby just cuts off the air with that later apex. Very smooth on that runoff area that time by for Taters. Car seems to be handling that well. Getting very close. Fighting the wheel a bit. Tried to get the shallower line there for a move on the inside. Didn't quite work out. Not the best of exits there from Kirby. Could be a send to the inside. We're going back off board. Oh, okay. Kirby holds on to it. Taters has to live to fight another day. Or another corner at least. And we're back on this quite soon. Swabbling's really allowed the top two to escape. And interestingly, I think some of them are trying to maybe get to the end on fuel. Just looking at how much fuel's left compared to the lap counter, we're about halfway through the stage and they've got a little over half the tank. To the inside goes Taters. He's late on the brakes, but round the outside continues Kirby. Will be the inside for the final corner. Bit of contact there. Slide McGee action. And Arroyo not too far behind these either. That number 19 car really rides the runoff quite well. Closing up again then. Too far back to attempt something audacious there, although really close, and there is a little bit of contact there. Not enough to unsettle Kirby's car in any sort of way, so it may have just been netcode actually, making the cars look closer than they actually were. But look at this exit speed. Oh, hitting one of the chevrons. Oh, rest in peace, Chevron. Side by side they run. He's got to this quarter panel. And the switch over again from Kirby. This has been some great racing from the number 38. And into the pits. Into the pits goes Taters. He's not trying to make it to the end on fuel. He's taking fresh tyres. And he's going to see if he can use clear air. Oh, he's well safe on fuel. If he's got that much now. Okay. Interesting call. Perhaps he just figured he was losing too much time battling Kirby. He's going to have to try and do something on strategy to maybe catch back up to the likes of Shadow, who has dropped back a little bit more from Mateus. What a fight that was, though. Some of the best racing we've seen all season, I think. This track has certainly delivered on the action. Cars are uncomfortable around here, and that's what's producing these moments. Mateus into the pits. Okay. And actually, there's something I noticed there. I'm perhaps being a little bit of a snitch, but I am the commentator. Yeah, look, we did see other cars stay within that yellow line when entering the pits. And I think Mateus, that time by and on the previous time they stopped, evidently hasn't. So that's an interesting one. The pit line penalties, the actual in-game system is disabled, but I think there may still be a rule for crossing that line, otherwise everyone else wouldn't have been doing it, or at least playing safe. It's potentially one that could get Mateus in a bit of trouble later on, but I'm not the steward, nor the race director. I am merely the commentator, noticing these kinds of things. Through all of that, it is Shadow that takes the lead of the race. Oh, okay, maybe it isn't the case then, because there's another car that's just crossed the yellow line. So I could be mistaken on that. Taking a lot of fuel on board the number 18 Verizon car of Team Capital. Making the stops early. Again, why is no one doing the go long and run the fuel out strategy? That way you're spending more of the time with the car lighter on fuel, therefore faster. If you've already got clear air, you might as well do it, but I'm not sure. Maybe we'll see that from Kirby. Kirby's currently the net race leader. Well, no, sorry, not net race leader, just the race leader. The net race leader would still be Mateus, probably. Unless anyone's trying to get the fuel to the end. That's looking to be more and more of a tall ask. But it's Kirby in first as it stands, Arroyo in second. There you see Mateus. And Shadow in fourth. Neither of them took tyres. One of them on significantly more fuel. And going by the fact that both Taters and Mateus are on less fuel, I'd say Shadow may have overfueled a bit. Better safe than sorry, but it could cost them if it ends up being a gap of like a few tenths or so. They may be ruining that extra time spent in the pits at the end of this. Taters opting to go with the fresher tyres. This is an interesting call. They did this in the first stage as well, and they just managed to, if I recall correctly, no, I'm sorry, I think I'm misremembering things. I think it was Mateus that managed to make the overtake right before the end of that stage. But Taters with this strategy trying to close up. And I suppose if you are going to take tyres, as I think that may have been track limits there. That's all 4 off the tarmac and the curb. But yeah, if you're going to go for the tyres, you got to give yourself enough laps to actually make use of that advantage. And I think pitting around that halfway point is probably the most optimal thing for what Taters is trying to do. Meanwhile, Arroyo into the pits, fueled up. And on the way out, I think Arroyo may come out ahead of Taters. No, not quite. And especially with the slow exit here. But another one that's taken new tyres. If there is a late caution, they'll definitely be in the money seat, but honestly, I can't see there being a caution. I know the curse of the commentator and all that, but just with how this race has gone, with the cars being... We did see some great battling earlier, but all too clean for there to be cautions. And now Kirby goes into the pits, okay. Just fuel. The Lightning McQueen strategy. And across the line, Mateus is most likely going to be taking the lead once again. Where does Kirby exit the pits? Going to be in a bit of clear air in third place, okay. So everyone has made their final stop. They should be good to go to the end here. Some have fresh tyres, some have not. But through all of this, it is Mateus that leads. 1.4 seconds. 1.3 actually, it's going down a little bit. 1.2. Between Mateus and second place Shadow, who's really found some pace just through that section. Third place is Kirby. Fourth place is Taters, best of the cars with the new tyres. And Arroyo in fifth. Okay. One second the gap now. What were the times last time by? 1:16.6. In fact, 2 laps in the 16s for Mateus last time by. Compared to a 15 and a 14 for Shadow. Both very similar for tyre life. Now Shadow has more fuel. And is catching rapidly. The brake is sticking. We've got a mechanical issue for Mateus. Is the brake sticking? We're going to have to keep a look at on the indicator, but they're side by side through the outer loop, and Shadow takes the lead. Mateus looking to the outside. Is that brake sticking? Looking to get the crossover. Side by side they run. Well, it looks like the brake isn't sticking anymore. It may have been fixed. Oh, maybe. There's very slight inputs, but that could just be very light trail braking. Going up the hill. Oh, into the wall! A costly mistake there for Mateus. That's allowing Shadow to get up the road. Okay, it looks like the issue's been fixed, but Mateus has been having difficulty adjusting. And that mechanical issue could yet come back to bite him. Oh, actually, look at the throttle trace, it's not quite full. The throttle trace not quite fully there on Mateus at parts of that. So I think the throttle could be playing up as well, going by the telemetry. Some of these lines, they are perfectly legal for this, but it is just comical. Of course, Shadow isn't actually locked into the playoffs yet. They're on the bubble. They're currently 8th in the standings. And what a result this would be. 4 winners out of 4 races if it continues as is. We're going to have to keep a track on that throttle and brake. I've only really noticed the throttle. Seems to be okay now. And Mateus is closing up again. Looking to the inside. Bit of blocking going off. Shadow with the very shallow entry. That's allowing Mateus to go around the outside. Side by side again through the S's. Shadow on the favoured line. Mateus has to back out of it. We'll check in on some of the others at this point. Kirby in third, Taylor's in fourth, trying to close that gap, and Arroyo in fifth. Taylor's has 4.4 seconds to make up. What were the lap times last time? Right, 16.0. There's a 14.7. So Taylor's could get to Kirby by the end of this. Might be tricky to pass, but we'll see. Into the final part of the race then. Here for Go Bowling at the Glen, 150 miles. Sideways action. Mateus is trying to fight a mechanical issue. And he's certainly not giving up. Looking to go around the outside again. Shadow having to take that shallow line, but it allows Mateus to have such a better exit. And to the inside, this is where you want to be for the start of the S's. Mateus to the inside. They're still side by side. Shadow bravely tries to hang on. Can't quite do it. We'll be trying to get the slipstream back up the hill. Rear wing cam. Where does Shadow go? A little bit of blocking there. Into the inner loop they go. Oh, again, just trying to get a little bit lower into the clearer air. Shadow pushing. There you see that throttle trace again. To the inside. Now you are able to defend on that outside line for this corner, but it looks like Shadow's managed to clear it. Shadow back up into the lead of the race. And if it all goes wrong for these two battling, TCR Kirby is only 5 seconds behind. So far, nothing catastrophic. But it just takes one misjudgment. And again, if Mateus is having issues with his throttle and brake inputs, it could be a mechanical issue there that takes them out. So the jeopardy is there. Trying to overtake midway through the inner loop. That is incredible stuff. Mateus trying to hold it around the outside. Side by side they run once again. Oh, this has been a rather quiet race. Still side by side they run. Mateus trying to get to the inside. Little bit of a nudge there on Shadow that time by. Gets the position. Great racing between the two of them. And Tatus has disconnected. We just caught that. That's another car out of the race. That car was looking good for catching up to Kirby. But Kirby now with a bit more of a safety net. 6.7 seconds. Well, this has been a race of attrition. We've seen many electrical issues. A mechanical issue seemingly being dealt with by Mateus. An unknown issue of some sort for Ray, who's still in the pits. Come on, you've got to leave a like for this. This has been awesome. We're here live at Watkins Glen International on the short course for the Capital NASCAR Cup Series. Round 4 out of 5 for the regular season. Then we go into the playoffs. Next time out we're heading to Northern Isle Speedway. If you want to be notified for that action, be sure to subscribe. And Shadow is closing in again. All sorts of sideways over the curb though. They should both be fine for fuel. I think everyone's fine for fuel. There's only 4 cars left in this. Very good points day for the survivors, is what I'll say to that. Shadow has closed right up again. Has got the clear air on that front splitter. As Mateus doing a little bit of a Helio Castro Neves, slightly higher line, but Shadow to the inside and very late on the brakes. This will be a crossover. There it is. Well handled. Although still side by side. Pardon me. The battling continues. 3 laps to go here at Watkins Glen International. Shadow still to the inside. Brakes late. Mateus will try the crossover. Gets that to work fantastically well. This is far from over. Shadow giving it absolutely everything. Shifting up to 5th gear. And into 6th. Not quite close enough to try anything, but closes up so much on the braking. Again, Mateus with that slightly higher line, maybe trying for that late apex, does cut back low towards the exit of the corner. The cars and their drivers will be getting ever more desperate as we get towards the end here. Final corner as we approach. 2 laps to go here for the Go Bowling at the Glen, 150 miles. It'll be white flag next time by. Shadow to the inside at turn 1. Round the outside, Mateus holds on to it. But over that bumpy runoff area, Shadow might have the better traction, and indeed does so. Shadow back to the lead. Finding the cars, going up through the S's. We've seen plenty of sparks off those Armco barriers earlier today. Now Mateus trying to close back up. Going on board with the KFC Toyota Camry. Still debris over that back straight. Closing in. Shadow goes a little bit defensive, but this opens up a potential cutback maneuver. You can see Mateus with the momentum, and again a shallow line for Shadow. Able to put down the power goes Mateus. 1 lap to go here at Watkins Glen International. The white flag is out and Mateus finds his way to the inside. Will Shadow be able to do the crossover this time by? Oh, it looks like he just won't have the momentum. Backs out of it, has to slot in as they go up the hill. Through the S's they go. Both of them avoid that Armco barrier. Shadow is extremely close. Does he have enough of a gap to get a run though? He's going to have to be late on the brakes. And he is, he sends it in. There's a little bit of contact. They both survive, but the positions are maintained. A little bit of contact there perhaps. Certainly Mateus getting a little bit out of shape. Shadow giving it everything, using all of the track and then some. 2 corners to go. I think Mateus might have it. It's going to be desperation. One corner to go. And I think he has it. It is indeed. It is Mateus that takes the checkered flag for the Go Bowling at the Glen 150. That was a well fought victory. What a battle that was. The first repeat winner of the season, the KFC number 25. of Team Full Push. Valiant effort by Shadow, just misses out on the chance to clinch his spot in the playoffs, but nevertheless second place will be very valuable points indeed. TCR Kirby survives all of the chaos and gets third place in the end, and Arroyo as well. Solid result there. Fourth place points. What an eventful race that was. What a show. And going by how stage 1 went, I did not think it was going to be that action-packed towards the end. What a battle, what a victory. What a race. If you have enjoyed, be sure to leave a like. Again, consider subscribing for the rest of the season and future content on the channel. This is Nukeshot Media on YouTube, of course, bringing you the live scenes from the Capital NASCAR Cup Series. If you want to take part in any of these events, be sure to check the link in the description. That'll take you to the Nukeshot Discord server, and from there I'll be able to direct you over to where you need to go. Always happy to have more entries on the grid. Look at the marbles built on the outside of that outer loop. Just over a second at the line. There's the debris. Oh. Rest in peace, Chevron. Great fan attendance as well. They have certainly had their money's worth here today. And the victory lap about to come to a close. Still got a little bit of time remaining on that clock. And across the line to get the checkered flag once again. And despite the name, the Go Bowling at the Glen, we didn't really see anyone get pile drived into turn 1. Not severely anyway. What a race. Let's save that replay because I think I might be one of the few people that can do that now. Here are the results then. Mateus, fastest lap of the race as well. They take first place and further cement their playoff points going into that section of the season later on. Shadow, very close again, but just not quite. But a fantastic effort by them. They take second place. TCR Kirby gets a podium result today. Good effort by them. Arroyo stuck with it, avoided any mechanical or electrical issues, gets fourth place. Ray Racer may not necessarily be classified as fifth. Depends on when others disconnected and such, and when they stopped driving, but nevertheless they were extremely fast in that qualifying session. They'll be hoping to take the momentum to the next round. Chico Blasi, another DNF. Unfortunate to see, as was Taylor's. What a race that was. We hope to see you next time out, where we go to Northern Isle Speedway for the final round before the playoffs. It is the Best Pro Shops Northern Isle night race. 200 laps, 112 miles. Hope to see you there. From all of us here at Nukeshot Media, we hope you've enjoyed. We've got some donuts from the race winner, some showboating going off. There it is, burning it down. Kirby as well. Kirby with that result may have actually clinched their spot in the playoffs on points. They were certainly looking very solid before this race and will be even more so. Good stuff for them. So again, hope you've all enjoyed. Be sure to leave a like if you have done. See you next time out at Northern Isle Speedway. From all of us here, I've been Zokyo of Nukeshot Media. This has been the Capital NASCAR Cup Series. And until next time, folks, goodbye.